Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome on in to another round of Division 2 this time. We obviously had Division 1 last night. Not really an overtaking affair we are used to usually in this league, as obviously that is more down to the track. But tonight, we have a very pivotal race in the championship, as was last night's race, of course. So, going into tonight, obviously we are at round 9 Qatar, off to Abu Dhabi next week. Exciting pastures there for round 10, and then we have the finale, which of course will be round 11 in Miami, and then of course a Christmas-themed mystery round, and what will sadly be my last commentary here for SSRL during that week. And to feel that that is only 4 weeks away is a bit of a thought. That is certainly for something. Drivers' standings at the moment, 13 points between Pleasant Sake and Quincy there. Of course, Quincy was awarded the podium after Pleasant Sake's post-race penalty of 3 seconds for overtaking under safety car conditions. So that now brings the gap down rather than back up. Energetic, of course, getting the win, brings himself into championship contention, 33 points, separating him from Pleasant Sake, and even Moksha is kind of on the outside there, but if he has a good result tonight, who knows where that could go? Obviously, only 27 points on offer, but 108 points on offer in total. Maybe he could get there if Pleasant Sake has a bad few weeks. Of course, he will have to rely on Quincy and Energetic having a bad week somewhere here and there. But still, one to look out for potentially. Race Chase and Truckster round out your top 5. Salvi, ADS, Toby, Tabran, and Tarkin Gino round out your top 11 there, not your top 10. Skid Solo, Kavachka, Sir Ibo, and Quan round out your top 15, followed by Red Dog, Devsy, Falco Warrior, Matt the Tank, who of course has been racing for the past couple of weeks, and Bruiser, with your reserves being Rolly, Dage David, Bavish, Mr. Cloudsan, and Vincenzo. And how this looks in the constructors is, well, it's a lead for Ferrari, 17 points Now, I think they were actually, from the calculations, they were actually on even points last week. So great work from them, as now Aston Martin are in second, with Mercedes only behind by 5 points there after a great result there from Energetic and his teammates. Williams round out fourth with Red Bull fifth. Then it's Racing Bulls, Haas, McLaren, Alpine and Kick Sauber rounding out your 10 teams. The last time we were here in Division 2, Fellow Sun took the win. Second was Rush Nasiri. Danger David was third. Fourth was Andy Ardre with Pleasant Stake in fifth. But now we cut to the track because qualifying has only just begun. And of course, guess who is here with us tonight? Well, it is a My Team specialist, World of Tanks specialist, and as well, a great, as you know all, a great fan of Qatar, as well as a great person all in all. Good evening, Herman.
Well, not such a great fan of Qatar, maybe, but also not a great fan of boring racing, but we are not having any of these today. I think there's going to be plenty of excitement for tonight, and we might have a championship leading charge for Quincy to take back-to-back championship fights, because I'm begging him on this racetrack to be faster than Pleasant Snake. This is my statement of the evening before we head into our 18-minute qualifying session and a 50% race for tonight's round 9 out of what is going to be 12 in concluding anytime soon. And there is a points difference that is still achievable by Quincy to overcome, and I think doing it here tonight and in Miami in 2 weeks' time would be one of the bigger steps needed right now. And obviously he cannot finish too many times, or even have big gaps in between himself and Pleasant Snake to come the end of the season. He's funny enough, he's not even the guy who has the most race wins after Snake. That's on the energetic side, but I think Quincy is the one to look out for tonight, and let's see what he can do as we head into our first flying laps here with Truckster as well as Salvi and Selbo.
Absolutely. Truckster leading the pack, and the 18 drivers behind him will, of course, set their laps in good time. So let's see what Truckster can do. Has actually had a good qualifying performance as of recently. Of course, you go all the way back to Mexico, qualified just behind Pleasant Stake. Unfortunately, we all know how that went. And that's kind of been the story of his racing. So third place last week, but sadly could only find 7th place last week in Vegas. And it's just been one of those. But you know what? I'm going to also go bold and go ugly early, as was once said in Top Gear. I'm going to say Energetic is in this one still. A 33-point gap coming in tonight. Converted pole to a win last week as well. I think one of the only other drivers to do that this season. Of course, Pleasant Stake has taken 6 pole positions, and 3 of those were converted to wins, which was round 2, 3, round 2, 4, and 5. There we go. We got there eventually. But since then, ever since round 5, every time he's been on pole, he has finished outside of it. So, of course, let's see if Pleasant Stake can also do maybe a bit of fixing tonight. But Energetic is the one I'm banking on, as Trunkster comes across the line there with a 1:21.5. Matt the Tank has left early. We're going to see a couple of more flying laps come in. We've got one of the Haas team there. That's Salvi with a 1:23.0 there. But Herman, you had a bit of a torrid night last night in Division 1, and we were just talking about this very briefly just before we went live, but we were kind of talking about, like, how the track isn't really built for overtaking. It really benefits from MotoGP racing, which is what its original purpose was. And to make sure you can actually make an overtake work, to the statistics that I found, you have to be about 0.8 of a second, and you agreed with that. Can you just kind of explain that a bit for us?
Yeah, obviously the biggest part to actually prepare an overtake is obviously being able to follow through on the second sector we're currently watching with Truckster, probably on a cooldown here, or maybe an in-lap even. You need to get within a closing distance before you hit this triple right-hander, because you get a lot of slipstream, but also obviously a lot of understeer in the dirty air. And dirty air, as we've discussed, has significantly increased in this year's game. And I would also assume that the paid DLC for the 26 iteration of cars will also maybe feature that. And that's very tricky, because you have all of these right-handers with not too much of a radius, but you're looking at like a very fast left swing, and then if you're too close there, you will obviously have to adjust gears. Usually, that is one of the most common tactics, and you're not you don't line opportunities up if you especially lack a turn in most of the tracks where you have high speed corners right before an overtaking opportunity. For example, Spain removed the chicane, and you really need to keep it pinned and be right behind there. And the track obviously is totally different. They are very high speed as well, but the nature is a bit different, and that enables also at this very long straight we're seeing here. And the most important thing is there then, if you survived all of these things, you really need to have also managed the battery. And for example, if the guy in front is running faster on the straight but is lacking a bit of downforce in the second sector, you will close up sooner, but you will need to burn more of your battery. And then even if you overtake, you don't really have a fight back opportunity, because second turn, third turn into fourth turn is still a counter attack territory, where the driver who has maybe saved a bit more than after you just got by on a straight that usually eats up to 5/10 of lap time. So if you have DRS, you can actually have your lap times improved significantly, as for most of the tracks with only one DRS zone, that is the case. So if you're close enough, you have a tire advantage, you're just in general better pace than your rival, then you will get by very easily and still have opportunities to get away from someone and then obviously get into the rhythm. But closing in on someone, even with different setup ideas, is very easy, but then passing is just a totally different beast. Medium tires were out very fast. We're looking at 11 to 13 in terms of laps where people will come in. Hard tire overcut worked well for Feddersen, but I'm not so sure how he enjoyed those mediums at the end. So tough track. Front left takes a lot of beating, and yeah, you just overheated. And when you try to turn in for what is 12 out of 16 left-hand side turns, and especially the last one, you just don't have the grip. The front can be snappy, and suddenly a snap of oversteer, even when you're 2 or 3 tenths behind, can mean you're stuck for another lap behind someone.
Well, we'll have to see how that works out. Obviously, qualifying is absolutely vital. It kind of throws you back to how it would all work in Monaco. And that is, like, you know, obviously on a track like this one, it's kind of like, would you really expect that? No, not really, just considering, like, you know, you can see some places where maybe cars go side by side, but, like, you know, as Herman has said, with all the dirty air that gets generated, and that has been a particular influence on the racing on this game, you just kind of find it's just a bit harder than you would like it to be to overtake, especially around a track like this one. Like, you know, we're currently observing Tark and Gino go flat out through turns 12 and 13 and 14. Can't overtake there, can't overtake here. You could try it through the final corner, but of course we saw Fellow Sun try that on Rush the Series last night. Didn't really go very well. Not that it affected anybody's finishing position, but it did end Fellow Sun's charge there, as that was on final corner, final lap. That's Tark and Gino, by the way, across the line, 6th place. But out of all the laps we have completed, we're just approaching the halfway session now, Herman Race Chase is on top, and he was doing very well in qualifying in Division 1 last night. Couldn't quite convert it in the race. He had a bit of a moment, but otherwise, he's doing very well, Race Chase. Where has this come from, I wonder?
Recent form is suggesting he has something lined up. Obviously, the tracks are kind of tricky to get right, especially Vegas is always very, very special, low downforce, and we obviously had that additional feature what we've been running all season. But for the desert tracks, it was planned to have dry quali. Truckster goes to P1 with a 10th over Race Chase, and he's getting his motor back. Mexico, he was in the top 2, then got the motor with penalties. Then this incredible overcut strategy on that one stop that also had Energetic and Moksha finish on the podium, where neither Pleasant Snake nor Quincy were on the podium, which was very surprising. And he has found something, and I was seriously worried when we were in a qualifying practice session before the race last night. And yeah, he was super fast. I think there was a puncture for him, and obviously the double stacking with the cars of Aston Martin yesterday being so close together wouldn't have worked out for him either. So yeah, maybe he was just waiting for Andrew, who's like a full-time driver for Division 1, to maybe make a move not to interfere with his race. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why he overdid it on the laps. But in terms of pace, recent performances point upwards for him. And you have to say, race pace wasn't never really the issue since he joined, as Quincy completes his first lap to jump into what is currently 6th position. So yeah, I think he found something, got back into his mojo basically. It was obviously very strong with Quincy as his teammate for the Constructors title in the last season. But yeah, some people have found something, and obviously some of the current grid have also not completed a full season, including Salvi, who were praising a lot of times going into the season, at the start of the seasons especially. And sometimes also people are missing, and he was also absent for I think 2 races. So he's gotten, after Mexico, back to the form I was expecting him to have, and he's also together with our top 3, that is Energetic Quincy and obviously Pleasant Snake, the only drivers that haven't had a DNF so far. I think Moksha's in there as well in the top 5. So yeah, if he can string some couple of good performances, maybe even steal a podium here tonight from the top 3, he could be obviously getting V-Cup a bit further up the order in the constructors and himself away closer to Moksha as well, because that is still a decent fight, and Moksha has been struggling with qualifying as I have myself. So let's see where he can end up. And currently 0.4, and I think he did a 0.2 yesterday, was also very impressive. So there's still time to find, and if he can avoid having another puncture, then I think he's on to a good result. As Underling is in the chat. Good evening.
Good evening, Underling. Pleasant Snake, by the way, is after the first set of hot laps, was nearly half a second slower, but has found 0.4 of a second in Sector 1. So let's finish off this lap. He's going to go through the fast turns of 12, 13, and 14. He should be flat out through there. You might want to drop down a gear for this one and take the revs up into 7th gear again. You might drop down again, depending on who you are, but let's have a look. Yeah, he's in 6th gear, going through turn 5th, forward 15, now through 16, down to 4th, now through to the final corner, down the straightaway, open DRS for a brief few moments, and take 3rd position there. So a bit of a better showing, but still not faster than Race Chase there, or Truckster for that matter. Race Chase has just begun his flying lap now as well, after going slow for his out lap, so he just took it easy, decided not to go for the flyer next time around, and decided to go for it now. So Race Chase now is on the charge, and Truckster will be keeping an eye on this one, as he would have been keeping an eye on Pleasant Snake. Energetic as well will be keeping an eye on things, as will Quincy there. Quincy not fast out of the gate. Herman predicted that he would top this one. Hasn't come to fruition so far, but we still have a few minutes to go if those yellow flags cleared, and that is Race Chase with a bit of a moment through what is turn number 6 there. Yeah, turn number 6 there, as he goes through turns 7, 8, 9, and then eventually approaching 10. It's been a medium to fast speed corner, this turn 10. Usually a bit slower. Oh, and another moment, and I think that's it. I think he went across the right line, but it's still going. We'll see how it looks on the Delta compared to his personal best. He's well down, yeah, so that extra lap didn't benefit him at all, and that is the end of that. But Herman, at the moment, how are you feeling about Quincy at this early part of the session? You made the boldest statement of all, of both of us, I should say, and say that he was going to top this one. It's not happening at the moment. Needs to find another 0.8 of a second, as to Brand there invalidates there very fast there. But anyway, yes, Quincy, not been the start he would have wanted to this quali.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dig myself out here and say I was obviously meaning the race, because we need the points from the race for Quincy to overcome Snake. I wasn't talking about quali, so whatever you say. Like,
listen, it doesn't do any harm to be specific. As oh my goodness me, I thought it was gonna crash into the barrier then, but now he's back into the pits.
That was close.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Oh, Energetic has spun.
No. Oh. Yeah, that was also on his outlap. So I saw Rolly at another invalidation, and Energetic at an attempt that was not good, so he aborted that one. Also, welcome back Jamaican Jam, who's trying to race without any assist again. So currently in 11th position, not too bad, as Korn hasn't set a time yet. and is about to start another one with like 3 minutes left. People will be getting out shortly again to make laps, so there's going to be crunch time soon. I think the top 5 surprised me. I didn't expect T-Brand race chase. Obviously, Trucks does a good qualifying usually, so but I'm honestly expecting like maybe a low like a 21-0 something maybe to come out here, with Andy being way down in the 20s yesterday. So surprised that there's no real showing from our current top 3, like 21-6 to 22-1 even is not what I would have expected here. So maybe there's been change of plans after racing yesterday. Energetic, both Quincy had some issues in the voice chat saying that they weren't really that comfortable. Maybe some qualifiers has been stripped there, as Kwon is into the final bit of the racetrack. Is using most of the EIS in short bursts instead of this part of the track, and is now about to complete his lap. Let's see where he can put his car, maybe get out of the bottom at the end right now, as more and more people are making their way onto the racetrack. And it's going to be very tight and very cramped as soon as people try to find space. And Kwon is into top 10, so very well done. I remember he also had a very good showing in qualifying in season 5, so that was also a very good racetrack maybe for him there. Let's see if race pace is also with him. And now Energetic is 1.5 tenths up, coming into what is the end of the second sector. Couple of yellow flags because people are getting out of the way, and the next detection zone, he is currently 2 tenths basically up. That is would currently promote him to the front row of the grid, and that would obviously mean a lot, and people still can get lap times in with better track, as the track evolution is very high on this one, usually very high on grip, as drivers from the Grand Prix on Sunday have been reporting. The Mercedes over the line now, using very much all of his ES now, and hey, beats race chase for now by 2,000 of a second to go to P2.
And now 35 seconds to go in qualifying. We've had a spin in turn number 6 there. That is one of the kick-sabbers, but they're out of the way very quickly. And they were on the racing line very briefly, but nobody impeded by that spin. Race Chase currently up 1.5 tenths in Sector 1. Energetic, of course, we just saw go to the line. And Truckster's going very slowly indeed. He needs to hurry up. He's only just got over 10 seconds to go. It is going to be oh so close. Can he make it? The session timer counts down. 6, 5, 4. He makes it. 3, 2, 1. Qualifying is over. Final laps are coming. Truckster is edging on that line. Goodness me. Was a bit distracted there maybe by the timer, but who is going to be first across the line? One of the McLarens. It's Meldrum here. Final corner, but invalidated. It's not going to matter. So now we go to the attention of the kick-sabbers, but they're not on a flying lap either. Their qualifying is concluded for them. So who is that coming across the line? It is Race Chase, one of the ones that surprised us. Great sector times. Has it converted it into a lap? Not quite for pole, but now it's one of the Red Bulls next. It's Toby next, to invalidated though, so that's the end of that. It's one of the Racing Bulls. It's Bruiser next, who's also improving, but not to a point of pole position. And then it's going to be Moksha next across the line. DRS opening for him. Then it's Salvi. That is 6th place again for Moksha. And 12th place for Salvi. A lot of times coming in, taking fast. Pleasant Snake at the end there. Gets pole, but wait. We still need...
Quincy Vellet! Quincy has invalidated his lap time. It's over. P8 at max. His Truckster still on his lap. Here he is.
P9.
Last turn is coming up for him now. Can he do it? Can he get another 10th? Then he would be on pole. Very tight line at the apex. Red Bull over the line. Can he do it?
No!
He does it! Pleasant Snake to pole position once again.
What an ending to qualifying. Pleasant Snake finds it late, finds it great, and he is just under a 10th of a second ahead of Truckster. There is nothing to separate the top 3, essentially just a 10th between them. And Energetic finding 4th as well. That is important for his championship, but Pleasant Snake has thrown a stick in the mud and has said, I am going to top that session and I'm going to make it difficult qualifying is important round Qatar, and he's made it work. But Quincy, with all the work to do, who initially got 9th, but then Tarkagino with a time to 7th pips him down. So your official qualifying results, it is Snake, pole position, Trugster, Race Chase, Energetic to Bran, round out your top 5. 6th to 10th is Moksha, Tarkagino, Rolly, Quincy, and Quan round out your top 10. Then 11th to 15th is Toby, Salvi, Jamaican Jam, Falcon Warrior, and Devsy, with 16th to 20th being Matt, Skid Solo, Meldrum, Bruiser, and Sir Ibo. By the way, Meldrum, even it was Devsy who set his fastest time on medium tyres. Imagine what he would have been able to do with soft tyres. But hello to ACF Nugget there in the stream. Welcome on in. Good to see you. It's been a while. And yeah, no, it's been a good qualifying. What can I say? That was absolutely amazing. But it is that time of the evening with Herman and Herman and Dave commentary. It is race prediction time. So I've
already wrote down mine. So whatever you do, I'm uninfluenced by it.
Okay then. So I'm gonna say Energetic's still gonna win. I'm gonna stake by my prediction, but I do think Pleasant Snake is on for 2nd place this time. Trugster will be 3rd. No, I'm gonna say Race Chase will be 3rd. I'm gonna keep him where he is. Trugster will be 4th, and then I'm gonna say Quincy for 5th position.
Where is? Okay, I got Snake to win this race. Chase 2nd. I think Quincy can make his way to 3rd. I think he saw a lot of strategy options play out that some of the top 6 might have not seen from yesterday. So he's very aware of what can happen with the undercut. Energetic to 4th. And I think Traxxer's gonna break into, although he hasn't done it very much that season, break into old habits and get 1 time penalty that cost them some positions.
Absolutely. And obviously, Energetic saying this track is utter garbage. Garbage track. FFS. I'm sure that means FFS means Final Fantasy something. So, you know, friendly talk only. But obviously Energetic kind of let's see making his words known. Now, actually, Herman, I'm gonna try and dig something out for you, because I had a friend come in chat very briefly. I don't know if you would have seen it, but they gave you some very nice nicknames, so I'm just gonna try and dig them out for you and read them out, just as a bit of fun while we are on the in-between. Yes, some nicknames for you. I'm going to try and dig them out, as I said, but I don't know if I'll find them before we go underway for our formation lap. So, I've got them. I've got some of them anyway, so I just need to forward the VOD a little bit. So, I can't read out the last one, but we've got Herm the Germ, Bernie the German, and then Borman the Jorman. So, what do you think?
Let me guess. Energetic.
No, that was actually my friend Temtem79.
Okay.
What in terms of nicknames, where is that on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say 7. The last one I don't get, but not too bad. But yeah.
We'll take it from there.
I think we are just seconds away from starting. I just checked Discord message. 56 is our starting time. So yeah, formation lab coming up soon. And I also fear for some people, if the setup is not completely right, that and I hope, this time I'm pointing him out beforehand, I hope Salvi stops doing 2 stops, because it's not Season 5 anymore. And he doesn't need to do it if he just keeps a bit of his tires alive and doesn't push that much, because we had seen Japan 2-stop. I think it was another race, and this could also be if he is not careful. So yeah, watch out, Salvi. Please, 1 less stop.
All right, then. Let's get underway for the last time. We'll run through your grid. It's formation lap time, so it's Pleasant Snake in pole position, taking it on the very last lap. Trugster in 2nd place there, followed by Race Chase in 3rd. Energetic is in 4th place, and what a night this is for his championship. 33 points coming in tonight behind Pleasant Snake. bit of work to do. Tabran is 5th with Moksha in 6th place. 7th is Tarkangino. Rowley in 8th place. 9th place is Quincy, not where he wants to be, and he is first of the few drivers who are on hards tonight. Kwan is in top 10 contention as well. Toby is 11th with Salvi in 12th. Jamaican Jam, unlucky, 13th for him. Falco Warrior and Sergeant Devsy in the Kick Sabers, respectively, 14th and 15th. Then it's Matt the Tactic in 16th. Skid Solo 17th. Meldrum in 18th. Bruiser 19th. And the only driver on soft tyres is Sir Ibo down in 20th. The Haas tried that last, my guy. Wouldn't want to try it again, as one of the Kick Sabers has gone for an adventure in the gravel. That's Sergeant Devsy there at turn number 7 there. So might want to get that reverse, then get back underway. And he's been disqualified, and he will not fit. Well, he'll finish the formation lap in his grid slot, but his tyres will be stone cold and hard tyres as well. Gonna have to be cautious.
And dirty, the dirt stays on there because you have to actually drive to get it off. So yeah, he's gonna enjoy that one. A final one before we start, Dave. Quickly, out of 2 drivers, I'm gonna say you give me one name who you think will finish higher, and the 2 names are Skid Solo or Falco Warrior.
Falco Warrior for me.
Okay, I'm gonna say Skid.
You wanted Falco, didn't you?
No, I feel like I'm not sure about how the consistency is looking, because I think also Falco struggled a bit with tractor penalties. But important that ADS is replaced by Rowley, who may score more points if Ferrari could get a big advantage over Aston Martin in the constructors for tonight. Couple of cars still about to line up. Let's take it away, Dave.
Disqualified is Toby, but yes, we are a few moments away from the countdown. Energetic needs a win from tonight or to finish ahead of both Pleasant Stake and Quincy. Quincy down in 9th has work to do and is going longer on those tyres. The countdown is a few moments away. One, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's go in Qatar, and I don't actually know who got the best start there. I think it was Truckster by a few inches, and it was indeed. Truckster is side by side going into turn 1 with Pleasant Stake, and that's nearly contact at the early part. There is Tabran going around the outside. Oh, Pleasant Stake has gone wrong. It's all gone wrong for the Aston Martin at the earliest point. He's down to 6th place already, but there's lots of fighting, so he might be there before you know it. Race chases out to 4th. Tabran's had a moment, and there's a bigger moment.
2 seconds!
Oh my goodness.
Quincy 2 seconds! Out of nowhere, he is into 2nd position from the start of turn 9 of position 9. He's into 2nd position. Wait,
oh no!
Pleasant
Pleasant Stake's gone into the back of Race Chase. Sorry, because Herman went to absolute elation. From 9th to 2nd goes Quincy. But now Pleasant Stake has really left himself in a hole as Tabran has left. He's not in control of that car. But yes, what a start to this Grand Prix. Both Quincy and Energetic have left Pleasant Stake behind, and Pleasant Stake has again, for the 3rd week in a row, left himself with a disadvantage and pressure from Tarkangino. What is going on with Snake Herman? He has had so much bad luck.
Pleasant Stake has wing damage to the right-hand side and played off his front wing, and that is obviously not great news, but most of the turns are right-hand side turns, so you can actually make a relic, see if he sticks it in the pit lane or not. He may feel that initial feeling of less turn, and especially for those 4 turns that are actually left-hand side turns, especially turn 2 can be very troublesome, and turn 10, as there's now Rowley at the back going against the Mercedes of Tarkangino side by side into turn 2 that is now outside for the Ferrari. Inside line is way short, and the Mercedes defends that position for now, but there's obviously a great run of slipstreaming. He pulls to the inside once again. No, he's just playing a bit of a dummy there, and he is back into that position behind the current 7th place Tarkangino, and also a very good qualifying. Has kept his position despite that very interesting starting phase, and Quincy is about to lose that DRS to Energetic while Race Chase is chasing him down. These medium tires should have an advantage up until lap 4. After that, the hard should come in favor for Quincy. Currently 2.4 second advantage for Truckster right now as we approach the final part of the the lap for the second time in this race, only with 27 more times to come. And also Moksha is with that DRS train of Quincy. And if Quincy can actually make this work, just even have the medium runners overtake him and pull him along, he will greatly benefit from that in the later stages, because they will be using their tires more to keep up with him inside of that second sector. And after that, it could be plain sailing, because Pleasant Snake, if that damage, especially to the right hand side of the car, produces extra wear, which it usually does, especially on what seems to be yellow wing damage, as Tarkangino goes to the outside, and there's barely anything he can do. He has to suffer through a very painful and probably 11 long lap first stint to make this work in any way, shape or form, because you don't want to be on a two-stopper, and hitting on lap 1 at the end of lap 1 would have meant that. So there's still a lot of work to be done, but this is the opportunity Quincy was looking for. Currently in third position, still a huge amount of points, but this race is far from over, and obviously it can go both ways still, as now also Rowley is on the back of the Aston Martin, currently looking at maybe being demoted to P8 within the first 3 laps, starting from pole position.
You gotta say as well, look at Energetic as well. Remember, after converting pole to the win and Pleasant Snake finishing outside the podium, he came into tonight with a 33-point disadvantage. We're gonna have to just wait. I won't go through points predictions just yet. I do have the sheet in front of me, but there's also a bonus point for fastest lap, and I don't think Snake's gonna be getting that anytime soon. To Brand looking racy behind the Ferrari of Rowley as well, but we need to go to the battle for third, because Quincy hasn't kept up with that 1 second gap, but this is only because of the hard tyre at, well, a medium tyre advantage this has early in this stint. It's about 4 lap advantage, as Herman said. Can Quincy keep Race Chase behind? Race Chase is going to be coming at a rate of knots. Quincy forced to go to the inside just to kind of say, don't try that. As Pleasant Snake has gone down to 9th place. Goodness me, this is an absolute disastrous start. And just to give you an idea, P9 is 7 points. Sorry, no, P9 is... Yeah, no, I was right. 7 points. Don't doubt me. 19-point deficit. So all of a sudden...
No one does.
Say that again?
No one does.
I hope not. But anyway. Anyway, that caught me off guard a little bit. At the moment now, 2 seconds between Quincy and Energetic. But, like, you know, hopefully Quincy will start reining in that gap. Hopefully around this lap. But he's just gone very wide through 7. And so he's a bit vulnerable there. Falco Warrior gets a 3-second penalty. And please, Falco Warrior, do not let Skid Solo by, or else I'll have no bragging rights over Herman. But now needs to give that a 3-second gap. But otherwise... what a start to this Grand Prix. All of a sudden, the twists and turns have just been better than Game of Thrones. And all of a sudden, we have the title winner that looked so likely by the halfway point of this race is now losing big time, as we've had a moment in the background. That's Bruiser having a bit of a spin there. He's got back underway. And, well, yeah, this is only getting worse for Snake, because he's now going to be vulnerable to Salvi. I didn't think I would see Pleasant Snake and Salvi battling for the same position. Obviously missing an end plate on his front wing. Here we go, down the start-finish straight. There's a battle for third happening. Race Chase gets a swap there, and all of a sudden...
He's going to lose 2 positions.
Oh, there's been contact. There's been contact.
Oh, yeah, someone is off.
Yep, that is the McLaren.
T-Ban and Tarkangino going down the order. So another position for Pleasant Snake, but Toby should be really... Oh, another damage! Another damage to Korn's car. And also Salvi has lost some front wing. What's going on there? All of a sudden, the McLaren has appeared. The Mercedes dropped back. There's Korn to the inside of Pleasant Snake. He's down to 12. What in the 2010 Abu Dhabi GP is going on here?
Carmen really looking through his F1 history book here in his own head, just to try and see if we can find something as shocking as this. But just to remind you guys, Pleasant Snake has been on pole 6 times this season, has won 3 of those. He came into tonight with a 13-point advantage to Quincy, looked so certain for the title, and it's all slipping away. Qatar is truly a weakness here, and Energetic moaned after qualifying, saying how much of this track he hated. He's up to 2nd place. Quincy's up 6 positions, still not able to track down, but Truckster as well is leading the race. Truckster is oh so comfortable right now, and Quincy's got a 2-car train with Race Chase and Moksha. Race Chase to the inside again. We've seen Quincy defend hard here before. He's doing it again. Race Chase, the American, gives him a bit of a NASCAR style push through the corner, a bit of bump drafting mid corner as 2 cars in the pit lane, Herman Kwan and Tabran.
Yeah, for the damage, and there's Pleasant Snake has just been passed by Tarkangino, who has still an intact front wing and used all of that ERS. He was having the Aston Martin burnt all of that on the main straight, and he cannot really keep up with the guys in front, but he has to in order to be anywhere near the DRS at the end of the lap. But there's just too much suffering going on, even for this type of track where 4 out of 16, I repeat, 4 out of 16 corners are only to the left hand side, and this would also given most of the disadvantage he can have inside of these couple of corners, but he's still suffering in the rest of them and is losing touch with Tarkangino over a second now, and we haven't even completed the second part out of 3 on this racetrack as the top 5 make their way onto the next part of the track, and Pleasant Snake is just falling down the order. And apart from who's currently inside of this race, no one with basically the same amount of pace as the typical midfield we have been having inside of the season. Everyone has passed them. Everyone is through. T-Brand is out of position here. A bit could have been even further ahead, and now Pleasant is into the pit lane. So that might be even the conversion to 2-stop now, because 7 laps is very much a stretch for the hard tires to do like 22 laps, and he's getting rid of the damage from wing now. So that might be 2-stop for him now, and there's a lot of things to do, and that's going to be a tough job. So he really needs a Toby or a Salvi to go to that 2-stop we've seen from most of them inside of this season to make this work, because on pace, we've seen from qualifying, he should be able to, but he's going to be demoted out of the points position here, as the guys on the main straight are just passing him. He's into 18th. What 19th. Is going on here? 19th position for Pleasant Snake with 4 races to go. Yeah, this one counts as 4 races to go. That is an insane amount of points lost to Quincy, who's currently still fighting for that, what is 3rd position right now. I would assume the mediums will suffer in the dirty air continuously, as he's the one who's running in the clean air. Obviously not using probably much of his tires right now. These shouldn't be, because going too early to the medium would make him suffer. He could be losing 2 positions right now, but that should be none of his concern, really. He's using a bit of that ERS, even more than I would thought. Okay, let's see if Race Chase can make it. He used 50% Race Chase to the inside of turn 1 and of Quincy, and completes that overtake to go into 3rd position. Outside maybe available for Quincy here. Bit of side-by-side coming up. Oh, there's just that tiny amount of margin left between them, and he sneaks in. Is on the inside again, double right-hander coming up, and Quincy is back again. He's fighting that really hard. He's making them use their tires. That is currently very clever if you keep your tires alive as well, because you need these tires to go a certain distance still, and obviously them currently running in the dirty air, they are taking more of a hit on their tires right now and will be suffering throughout the next couple of laps, as we are approaching pit stops very soon, as another yellow flag for Meldrum, who pits for, I think, the 2nd time in this race already, having run on these hards. And the field is completely split. We've just seen also Pleasant Snake back into 17th, making an easy job of Bruiser, and the top 2 have been running away with it. This fighting obviously helped, and Truckstar might be our 4th different winner inside of this season if this continue at this rate we are currently having.
Absolutely here, and Quincy's about to go under pressure again. Let's see how this works out. He's kept them behind for 9 laps so far, but will the 10th and most important lap, but the most important lap for these medium runners be the undoing? Well, let's see. Race Chase is forced to the outside. There's a McLaren of Meldrum being lapped by this group, and Race Chase to the outside, but Quincy has the traction. He'll have the better tyres, and he has the outside again like he did last lap. Caution in sector 1 for the slow-moving McLaren, and Quincy is still gonna keep third place, but 4 seconds now, 4.5 seconds to be exact, and now Energetic is catching Drugster under 2 seconds now, and it is getting very, very tense here in Qatar. Who says Qatar produces boring races? I certainly never did.
Yeah,
I never said that. I never said that.
We jinxed it. Toby to 7th position as well. This would be, I think, season best finish if you can keep it. Obviously, Rolly is brought into the fight with Quincy defending like an absolute madman from Moxa and especially race shares right now. And these points will be crucial because Aston Martin 13th, 17th. That's not even points inside of our point system. That would be such a huge blow to Aston Martin. I think even if correctly calculated with Tarkingino 10th and Energetic currently in 2nd, I think Mercedes could make a huge jump here to maybe even get into the fight for 2nd or 1st even, depending on where Energetic also finishes, because if you get that 1st position, you get additional 5 points over the next cars. In a Pleasant Snake gets by on Seibo, which just on very old hard tires, and they're soft tires, sorry, and yeah, that is now 16th for the time being, so he is not having the race of his life right now, but the safety car can change everything. Obviously these guys at the front won't like that, but that is still a possibility. And yeah, we've just seen 10 laps of especially crazy results for what we are looking right now.
Absolutely here, but Pleasant Snake still has a long way to go. It is 20 laps to go here in Qatar, and at the moment, he is up to 16th now. In terms of safety car chances, honestly, they are very low around here. You can see how far the walls are away from each other. It's mostly gravel traps, and the cars don't get stuck here on this game, so you gotta really consider that, you know, a safety car just isn't really a prospect here unless if 2 cars go crunching together, and I really hope I'm not jinxing this as well, like me and Herman did earlier on before we got on the broadcast tonight. But at the moment, there are several things happening. Chobi is on his best. Rolly is caught up to the train with his teammate, and I think Herman has seen something.
No, sorry, that was
a cough. Okay then. But at the moment, here we go again. Quincy now needs to hold off pressure again. He finally wasn't side by side with Race Chase last lap, but he hasn't abandoned this pack either. That's Bruiser coming out ahead on the pit lane. Won't really be impeding this battle. It'll bring out a yellow flag, but either way, that keeps Quincy safe for the time being, and now he is going to be looking towards the pack because finally he's been making some dents in that gap, and now at 4.5 seconds after being at 5 seconds at the beginning of this lap, so the times are coming down, but we'll have to see if Quincy is able to continue that pace. He should be able to, considering he's on the hard tire, but of course anything can happen here. Remember, Race Chase was in a very, very good position last night in Division 1 and then got a puncture on his pit stop lap, and that really ruined his evening, and so he's going to be hoping for none of the same tonight, and we'll see if that happens, but he'll be very aware of that. He's on the medium tire right now, so he feels that the strategy was the right one, but at the moment he is just going to stick to as he was for the time being. But at the moment, I've got to give a huge shout out here because Trugster pole position here, and he's kept Energetic at that 2-second barrier. He's not really allowed him to get much closer.
Truckster was 2nd actually.
Sorry.
50-second gap, Pleasant Snake to P1 currently. That would be 2 pit stops for Truckster, and he would come out a second behind Pleasant Snake right now. Speaking of pit stops, I would see one of the guys, especially Energetic, should be watching out to maybe try doing undercut here. Rolly is done that on the group ahead, so 3 cars could possibly be undercut.
Oh, sorry, puncture for Salvi in 9th. He's just slammed into Tarkingino and lost his front wing end plate, but Salvi has a Race Chase moment there, Herman.
Yeah, that is a very... Oh, Tarkingino has a Herman moment! Let's go! He did it!
We have... Bingo is complete, I think.
Yeah. We jinxed the race. We have 2 people who did something from yesterday. And the race is crazy, so that's 2 off. So we got to 5 already.
Woohoo! That is just how we like it here in SSRL, Silly Season Racing League. Proving its name. Anyway.
I just wanted to say there's like a 3 or 4 second undercut possible if you get it right. So obviously you need to keep the front left a bit more in shape for one extra lap, but that 4 seconds, obviously, if the driver behind can't get into your DS when at any stage again, and you're just looking like you're the absolute genius. And we've just seen even on last year's game where we had this crazy season for Brazil race where top 6 were completely in a bunch and in a pack, and then I pull an undercut and I'm by on 3 people and get the podium. As Truckster is avoiding that and pits right at the end of lap 12 to make Energetic also come in because you don't want to be in that overcut strategy. Race Chase is in, Moksha's in, and we are watching now the second Ferrari of Rowley because he's gonna be in that opportunity window to get a jump on them, and that would obviously be very crucial for the Constructors' Championship. Not only would he jump 2 positions and get that extra points, but also can help Quincy now defend the position from these guys because he's the only one that is in the top 5 fight right now who is doing that overcut strategy. Let's see at the pit exit Race Chase and also Moksha. That is quite surprising. Maybe not the best out there for Roddy, but yeah, he has them in front of them, and the tires will not warm up until the end of the lap, so you need at least this outlap to have warmer tires again to fully push. And the fronts, you need them for turn them. They are not warm on this track, although they are severely punished. But at the exit, on the outlap, they are not. So let's see. Currently, the leading gap would mean for Quincy that he would come around where Falco Warrior is with 5 to 6 seconds behind Energetic. Obviously, that's going to be changing soon because there's going to be new tires for Energetic and Truckster to get more pace out of them and close the gap down before I would assume Quincy pits on lap 17. And let's see when that actually happens. But yeah, there's Rolly now at the back of Moksha, and this now is the DS chain of Race Chase. I think Falco Warrior should not be fighting that. I think he's a good position to have a good race for his own. So if anything, 2 or 3 people might pass him on the straight right now. We can watch that. Maybe there's not much of a close fight going on elsewhere. There's just a car in between Energetic and Truckster. Let's see. 4-way train onto the main straight. Technically 4 position with Falco Warrior. Let's see if he's doing. He's keeping it. He's keeping them at bay for the moment. Race Chase to the inside goes by. Moksha has to go by as well, and he's opening that door. And Rolly! Bit of contact there. Wasn't seeing him. The Ferrari was very late for Rolly as well. He was kind of desperate to make that move, but Falco Warrior was luckily unscathed and didn't take any damage in that. Would have been very disastrous for his race. And a couple of laps more to go for him to before he can pit as well as his teammate. So they should watch out when to or how to time these pit stops. As he's currently leading the second group basically, because some already have made pit stops, including Toby and Salvi. And now he's off into the gravel and doing some repainting of that. Let's see what that rest of the race can bring him, as we have just made it to the halfway mark with Quincy leading, Matt the Tank both yet to pit, and then Truckster 1.6 seconds in front of Energetic. So that gap has stayed the same as Jamaican Jam receives a 3-second time penalty, currently in 17th position.
At the moment now, you are currently watching this battle, and, well, just in case you have just tuned in for the first time tonight, what a start you have missed. What a Grand Prix you are witnessing so far as Race Chase takes the fastest lap of the race there to keep his gap to Moksha fair and square. Now, the only drivers we are waiting to pit in that top 10 are Skid Solo, obviously, to Falco Warrior, and Matt the Tank with Quincy. But Matt the Tank has done a good job so far. He is the other driver, well, one of the few other drivers that started on the hards there. And at the moment, they have track position, but they don't have tyre life on their side at the moment. So they will be kind of doing what we call an overcut. So they'll go on to the softer compounded tyres compared to the hard tyres. So that'll be the medium compound. And then what they will do is just carry the fresher tyres to the end and hope to make up positions that way. It's the strategy that fellow Sun deployed last night, and that got him all the way up into 3rd place there and was very close to overtaking Rush the Siri. Obviously that was a very entertaining thing. So some of those drivers have taken inspiration from that, including Quincy. So they're hoping to have the pace towards the end of the Grand Prix at this current moment. But here we go. Trugster is putting the pressure on Matt the Tank, who hasn't pitted at the moment. So maybe Matt the Tank will see this as his opportunity to peel off into the pit lane. No sign of that so far. The pit lane entry is just after the exit of this corner. And no, he will not depart. So Matt the Tank goes defensive. And McLaren has had a moment. That's that Meldrum. It is, who's facing the wrong way. Trugster overtakes the Haas there down the DRS straight. And he gets that moved on for second. And now 14 seconds between himself and Quincy. And more importantly, a doorstop between him and Energetic as well. Of course, this is the fight for the win of this race here. I don't know if Quincy quite have it for the win, but he'll certainly be able to bring a fight for third place. But really, he would have been hoping to be ahead of Energetic as well, and Pleasant Snake, of course, as well. And kudos to him, making his stop as well, up to 13th place, right behind Toby, as they do battle, while he does battle with Sergeant Devsey as well. Sergeant Devsey tried to defend from Toby, but you know who's got the fresher tyres, and that's the Red Bull there. The Kicksauber, not great on its tyre wear, as there's more yellow flags for slow-moving vehicles, and that is actually Devsey defending from Pleasant Snake there into turn number 4, but that is never going to work out for him, as we all know Pleasant Snake is leading the championship for a very good reason there. But otherwise, it's all been a rotten evening for Pleasant Snake. But at the moment, he's doing maximum damage control, and he's doing a good job so far. It would land him in the top 10 once Falcor Warrior and Skid Solo have pitted, but then Toby should be an easy target for him. And here we go, Herman. Quincy into the pits.
Yeah, the time has come at the end of 16, so I think there's an extra lap of nursing to be done, as Pleasant Snake, who I'm currently watching, is riding on the inside of that triple right-hander of Toby and got him into the turn. That was very impressive. Just before he was pitting, I wanted to say that the gap should be 3 seconds behind Rolly, and then he has 9 seconds to the leader with 6 cars to overtake. So that's gonna be a lot of work from here on out. So tires will be very good for the first 6 laps, I would say. Especially with less fuel, you should be able to have a bigger advantage. But yeah, I think that's still a stretch for Quincy to get into P1 with the gap between Racers and Energetic. So his target should be to get back to P3. And other than that, I can't really see the medium really working the best. If you could, or if we would be able to, then I think double hard is the best strategy in this race tech. You can unfortunately not do that, but yeah, that is still a long way for Quincy in order to complete a podium finish here. But honestly, I think Pleasant Snake still needs to pit again, because 10 laps already, he needs to go an additional 13 from now, and that's going to be really rough on tire life. And could be that even if people on 2 stops inside of the midfield are not Moksha with 3 seconds, very interesting, good to know. Skid Solo lets Snake by, that's P8 now for him. So yeah, even if he can make that tire work, it's still going to be very rough and over 75%. So at 75, with how much you basically torture the front left on this racetrack, you can easily get 5 to 6% per lap on this tire on the front left, and then you risk every lap additionally to that over the 75% mark. If he's nursing him right now, just to make sure he's not doing an extra stop as Toby gets by on his teammate in the background, then that's good. But honestly, I think a lot of people inside of that midfield who have maybe additional stops to come right now have opportunities to get by on Snake if they are not currently stacking those penalties, which apart from Seibo and Last and Matt the Tank, who just pitted as well, is the case. So yeah, let's see. I think top 10 could be possible, but he has to really be careful, or just go full throttle and pit again soon, and just go tooth to nail on this and make this work. So let's see what the rest of the race has in store for Pleasant Snake.
Of course, it had a bit of troublesome at the start. By the way, a chat coming in. That guy 5001 who's changed his name to Vox. I'm not gonna read all of that just because That's a bit of a tongue twister with the name there, but otherwise, it's good to see you again, Fox, after watching last night's race. But literally screamed at the start when Pleasant State got damage, and he was at work. So I hope he doesn't work in an office environment. Let's hope he works from home or something like that. But here we go. Will Rowley play the team game and allow his teammate through? All important for the championship here, but Rowley does not play ball. And just a reminder, the only outlier in this top 6 is Moksha, who has a 3-second penalty for track limit violation. Yeah, Quincy will be hoping that Rowley gives way, as there's been a bit of a moment. Skid Solo is in the pit lane. Of course, he went early onto the... No, sorry. He went onto the hards at the start of this race, as now both Hasses are now swapping positions or having a bit of a fight there. And that is a lapped car of Bruiser in the background there, so he's got no stakes in this battle. But here's Tarkangino trying to make a move work, but nowhere to go with that early on. And, has to sit behind as a spectator, while Salvi stays in 10th place for now. But Salvi also has a 3-second penalty. Tarkangino has the most here with 16 seconds, with Devsy with 15 seconds. So at the moment, those two with the largest amount of penalties so far in this race.
Wow.
What's made you go, oh wow?
Rowley was really slow out of turn 10. Quincy was not using any of his EIS and still made him go another line into turn 10, which is very unfortunate. They have lost 3 tenths right now, so obviously Quincy is on that additional strategy and will be using that DRS to get by on Rowley and not using, hopefully not where he's burning a lot of ES right now. So he's also signaling him that wasn't very team-esque. So yeah, I think there will be maybe discussion after this, because that was really not necessary, I would say, and some time lost that needs to be recovered by Quincy. Tires were safe.
Puncher for Sergeant Devsy, by the way.
Yeah, 18 laps is a rough one. I'm not sure if you wanted to do the hard soft, which with 9 laps on the soft would still be a very tough task. But yeah, Devsy is currently not looking so fancy, and he's off into the gravel right now. And yeah, you can be quite lucky to maybe get it into the pit lane right now and continue on a set of new mediums to end the race. Very unfortunate, because he was looking at a very good points finish for his current pace, and we haven't really noticed, but Energetic is also a bit closer lap by lap to Truckster, so there might be late charge, and obviously Race Chase, Moksha and Quincy are now back again. The band is back together with Rowley left behind for now, and yeah, there will be I think Quincy, obviously if you go past now or as soon as he can, he will be having some tire life left. If you just keep it behind and maybe save tires, could also be a good option, but he also needs to be like trying to make people move, because if you're inside of a 2-car DS train behind obviously the leading car, then you can't really pass the other one without the other making a mistake. So if you close behind someone that doesn't have DRS, just try to get by if you're the second car behind that. So if the opportunity comes at the end of this lap, then he should try to get by as soon as he can. As both of the Haas cars fight, Ferrari engine teams don't seem to be working well together, because Salvi made him go the long way around, with now also Tarkangino taking a bit of that fighting to his advantage as he goes up to 11th position, obviously getting a 16-second time penalty as Quincy is side by side into the triple right-handers with Moksha, and he fought that very brilliantly, very brave there for Moksha to stay there on the inside, especially with 30 car from the car ahead. So yeah, that was very... But this is exactly what Quincy needed to do. There's a smaller gap between him and Moksha. They're both gonna be having DRS here, but if he gets it right, he should be able to pass him. Let's see ERS checks. That's an equal amount of ERS left for both of them, so that didn't even really make it work. But this is this is the right spirit, where there's a wide moment by Moksha to the outside of Quincy. Does he have more? He should have more traction. Inside line is coming up, and Quincy into 4th position with Moksha. having that additional 3-second time penalty, but that still can happen to everyone inside of the race as the gap at the front has stabilized and Truckster is looking like he could... I think I'm just jinxing people. I said Truckster gonna be down with a time penalty. It can still happen, obviously, but he's not looking like he's gonna be finishing fifth if he don't puncture his tires or something, because then he's gonna be down. Quick note on Pleasant Snake. He hasn't pitted. I think time point of no return is over right now. I think with 7 laps to go, you don't make enough time up on the guys in front, even if you would like to. So let's see if he can stay there. Toby's on fresher tires. Matt the Tank is on fresher tires. That's still reasonable gaps for them. And yeah, if he can make that work, that would be obviously very good, because currently 4th position for Quincy compared to 8th isn't that bad. Obviously big swing in points, but yeah, there could be another 2-3 points for Quincy in this very soon. And there's a bit of slipstream from race chase used by the other Williams of Jamaican Jam that is currently on the front straight here, as all of these 3 make their way into turn 1 again. And also, yeah, the gaps have stabilized a bit, as the biggest gap currently is with Falcovaria to Salvi, and then the rest of the field with multiple stops already completed, yeah, way away from the rest of the field. And just a quick note on most positions gained. Quincy with 5, Matt the Tank with 6 on both of the alternative strategies available here.
Here we go. Sorry about this. Turns 6, and it's Quincy round the outside for 3rd place here. That is a spectacular move. There we go. Quincy now has 10.7 seconds, 7 laps to get that down. But I don't think it'll be enough, because Energetic has just broken into the DRS here, and, well, then breaks right out of it, as now Truckster is able to find those few tenths. But I think now we are going to start to see a very tense final few laps here with Energetic and Truckster. This leading battle has been building and building and building. Energetic hasn't let Truckster get away, but Truckster has stayed stable. But of course, we all know Truckster loses it at certain points of composure. Remember, he's been behind Pleasant Snake for the past few races. He's saying...
I'm sorry to interrupt that, but there's like 5 laps left, and there's a not insignificant amount of fuel that Truckster is under currently compared to Energetic, so he might be in need to save some fuel at the end of this, because judging from what I can see, there's a two lap advantage on Energetic, but Truckster is down by 0.2, and if you don't heavily lift into turn 6 and turn 1, you will not be getting that back. So there might be a way for Energetic still to win this, because Truckster shouldn't be using ES, because you get more revs from the engine very soon as well. Obviously, you usually use ES in the lower gears. Then you have more RPM, and then you will burn through more ES, because you get to a different top speed higher, and that burns most of your fuel. So he is in need to manage the gap to Energetic, manage the gap to what he has left in the tank, to what laps of the race are still left, because if that goes wrong, 10 seconds can be easily become even less in just a couple of laps time, because then Energetic can pass him. There might be a fight, and then if he even has to do more, if you run out of fuel, you're basically going like, I don't know, like a road car. So that's not fast on a track like this, where I don't know where the average kilometer per hour is, but I would assume roughly over 160. I'm sorry, I don't know what that in freedom units is, but it's very fast, and you will close in very soon and very quickly if you have the fuel wrong on one car, and the others, for example, this trio here and fighting for that last spot on the podium, can be getting in there super quickly. And there might be crunch time coming up very soon here, Dave, because Truckster is not enjoying this, I think, at the moment. Although it looked comfortable, he has to give some space to Energetic, a couple of tenths here and there, to make that ERS work. And if he to make that fuel work, and if he continues to overdo it on the ERS, and that obviously costs you lap time, that might be over for him very soon, as Toby is close to Matt the Tank, as they probably will be fighting for what is ninth position. Here, the medium tire is dropping off. A hard tire of 12 laps should be in a very good position. And Toby is looking at a very strong finish here with Red Bull currently taking 10th and 1st for the moment. Let's see where they end up at the end with Truckster maybe looming in on a second place after not really having that fuel calculated right now. And there might be more trouble to come here at the end of this very interesting and very open Qatar Grand Prix.
Absolutely. By the way, Truxter just had a helping of DRS. He had the lap traffic of Kwan in front of him, and he was actually at the detection point just under a second. So Truxter has had a bit of a helping there, but of course only one DRS zone. It's not really going to count for much when you have the twisted turns of, well, all the rest of the track, really. And now, of course, there's some few battles shaping up here. There's 10th, well, 9th place here with Matt the Tank here. And here we go. Toby is going to start to make his move, and nothing Matt can do but wait for the braking zone and brake as late as he can possibly dare. And guess what? It works out very nicely. And there's Tarkangino to the inside of turn 2, but that just comes to an end there. And now Matt the Tank will hold on for another lap, but it looks like Tarkangino is looking to take this one away. Now, just to remind you, Tarkangino has a 19-second penalty post-race, and we are 1 lap away from not seeing the safety car. So as long as their battles stay sensible, well, it is certainly going to be a straightforward fight to the end of this Grand Prix. But Energetic just not getting able to be close enough. But as Herman said, there is a situation with Truxter's fuel. He has underfueled for this race, and at the moment he is starting to feel the pressure. 1.5 seconds with 3 laps to go, so we will not see the safety car at all towards the end of this Grand Prix. So it is a straightforward fight to the end. And now Race Chase is going to have DRS on Quincy. Quincy has just not even made a dent on that gap since getting past for 3rd place. I think he's had to accept that this is as far as he will go, but at the very least for him, it's another podium in what has been a rather consistent season. Hasn't had a moment like Snake has over the past few weeks, and it will be a massive dent. But also give credit to Pleasant Snake where it's due. He is up to 8th place, and 1.7 seconds away from Tabran there. So he's actually put on a good damage control race, but either way, this is still going to be a massive loss, as now Tarkangino has a massive speed advantage over Matt the Tank. But will it matter? I don't think so. 19 seconds is a lot to make up in the next 3 laps. And either way, it's been a rather forgettable Grand Prix in the end for him, and was looking oh so good, oh so early on, but unfortunately it's just faded away. 3 laps to go. Energetic still 1.4 seconds away, and just a bit wide there. He will have incurred a track limits warning. Mark, of course, most known definitely for Wheeler Dealers, will have been on the radio there just to say, hey, just be careful of those. And now we're going to begin lap 28. Oh, that was a little bit of a loose end, by the way. And you were saying about Truxter, Herman?
Truxter has gone up in fuel usage, so he's even has increased the amount of time he will be running in low fuel mode. And judging by what I know from experience, I think we are looking at low fuel mode at the apex maybe of turn 15, so still a long way to go. And they've moved the start-finish line and the end of the race even forward. Toby's gonna benefit from time penalty Matt the Tank just got, and also Pleasant Snake and T-Bran have both gotten tires over 20 laps old inside of this race. So yeah, I'm surprised to see if both of them make it through here. They are obviously not running the best pace, but yeah, they have to surely keep themselves honest with the tire saving. And I personally don't think going through all of these drivers, even with pace advantage, Pleasant Snake would have probably had, judging by how the field has spread out also that 20-second gap to Falcovoy between 12 and 13. Yeah, that would have been a lot of work, so I think he chose the path with the least resistance and just nursing the tires, and it currently has worked. He's also closing in on T-Bran, has just reached the 1 second mark, so maybe another overtake coming here up. And then obviously, oh, and T-Bran is off. Puncture maybe, let's see.
I think so. Hang on, let me see. And I think it's on the rear left tire. Rear left tire there. Yeah, it's gone.
Oh, And he's off.
He's gone, and that is the end of that. So that means Pleasant Snake, and now with dirt on his tyres as well. Oh, he is in trouble here because Pleasant Snake is on 21 lap old tyres. As Race Chase has just gone round the outside of Quincy here on the final lap. This is really nerve-wracking stuff here. Quincy trying to get back past Race Chase, but no dice there. Energetic is too far away. Tabran has brought out the only yellow flag in Sector 3. We have 3.3 miles to go. Truckster is going to be oh so tense here, but there's still a lot to be conceded. Well, there's still a lot to be decided, I would say. Pleasant Snake is on 22 lap old hards, and he's just seen Tabrans delaminate on lap 22 of them being used. He's only just getting around to turn for... It's gone! It's gone! How about it's gone? His tire has gone! Oh, no!
Trickster! Trickster's out of fuel! Energetic is going to take the race win!
I don't believe it! What a final lap! What a final lap! Energetic!
Watch for Race Chase! Watch for Race Chase and Quincy! They're coming up fast! One corner to go for Truckster. Can he make it onto the podium? Or will one of these drivers snatch it away? Energetic takes another race win inside of the season. But the gap is closing. Truckster has done it. He has
no, he
enough.
hasn't.
He's
no, he
over
hasn't.
the line. He is second.
He's going to be third. He's going to be fifth. That's it. So Quincy and Race
because
Chase.
of the penalty, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think 10 seconds for that will be sticking. So
okay. So we think that Quincy. So we think
that might be removed. From what I've seen, I was watching him before I said maybe jump to him. It looked like he was just off track. Should have been maybe a normal warning, not 10 seconds. Let's see. Not sure. And Pleasant Snake is doing the 2020.
But he's
Hamilton from the GP where he had only 3 tires to make it to the end. Quan is around the outside and through.
Hang on, because Quan has just got through and he's not going to gain any position. So you know how Tarkangino had 19 seconds. He's lost that.
Yeah, true.
And now Falco Warrior's just gone past, and we've only got one corner to go. He might make it, but he's gone very wide through there, and it's already at over 3 seconds. Can he keep it under 6 seconds? This is oh so important for his championship. He can, but only 11th place. So with Energetic winning, as Truckster DNF'd, he didn't make it.
He left his session too early.
Oh no!
That might be saving grace for Pleasant Snake, because there's been a rule I think established after this happened for the first time, where you need to be aware of this and don't leave too early before the guys are over the line. Might be also that this is not reinstated. I've seen multiple leagues do it in different ways. I'm not so sure. So, but from the 10 seconds, I would say that's Truckster's P2. But I don't know about this one. I don't remember with him.
So, after a dramatic Qatar Grand Prix.
I need to lay down.
Oh, you've got podium interviews, my guy. You can't lay down just yet.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding.
And, of course, Energetic is on the top step after Truckster misses out on fuel. And again, another race where what could have been, if it wasn't Truckster being Truckster. Energetic is on the top step, but Race Chase is on the podium. Congratulations to the American driver. Quincy is in third, but will that stick? I don't think it will at the moment. So, good game to Pleasant Snake there. Well, good game to Energetic, beg your pardon. No, sorry, force of habit. And Pleasant Snake has suffered massively. Race winner Energetic. So just to give you an idea of that, I'll go through points gaps in a bit, but Energetic, obviously we all know fastest lap went to Quincy, so he gets an extra point. That's very important. Driver of the day and most overtakes goes to Matt the Tank, with cleanest driver being Quincy there. So your unofficial results coming out of Qatar, it is Energetic, Race Chase, Quincy in top 3, Moksha and Rolly in your top 5, then it's Toby, Matt, Tarkangino, Quan and Snake in your top 10, then 11th to 15th is Falco, Skid, Salvi, Tabran, Truckster, with 16th to 20th being Jam, Devsy, Bruiser, Ibo and NRL Andron. There you go. Anyway, we are now going to move on to podium interviews, but let's very quickly just do a little bit of a debrief on a really twisty Qatar Grand Prix. Well, first and foremost, you go to lap 1, Pleasant Snake gets damaged, also has a moment coming out there after you said secure pole position. Truckster goes and says, thank you very much, I'll take the lead away from you. And then all of a sudden, he held that lead for so long, underfuels it, And it's race over for Trugster and Energetic taking a seriously important win in his championship. Now, if let's just keep the results as they are for now. Let's say Pleasant Snake keeps P10, right? Energetic gets the win. That is a 20-point deficit. That is a 20-point gain for Energetic there. That brings the gap from 33 points to 13. What a chapter. That is incredible. Quincy, P3. He scores 17 points. 1 point for fastest lap, so 18 in total. That is a gain of 11 points. It was a 13-point gap at the start of tonight. It is now a 2-point gap if things are to stay as they are. Herman, I think that gives us a good segue into podium interviews.
Yeah, thank you very much for that prep there. Yeah, we are looking at another race win from Energetic, and obviously that was very well done, executed. Obviously, you said in the chat you didn't like that track. You had some experience yesterday, and you still won it after there was a miscalculation of you from Trucks. How do you feel after this one? We're looking forward to maybe righting the wrongs from yesterday and get a better result on the table, and how you're looking at that championship table right now as well after this one.
I'm a bit shocked because my engineer told that the car in front was running out of fuel like halfway through the last lap. I was like, "What? You mean the lapped car or you mean Truckster?" And on the triple right-hander, he slowed down pretty big time. I was like, "Okay." And then I just did 2 clicks on my rear wing changes, and I tried to stay clean of penalties today.
Yeah, one of the biggest talking points always on this track is penalties. You managed to do that well. Did you just be more careful in order to make that, but still trying to keep it very much a good pace, or did just the overall drivability of the car from what you just said about setup changes just make that way easier for you?
I think I was in a more of a rhythm, even with micromanaging of ERS. Last night I didn't knew what to do with the ERS. I was just deploying it and regaining it at the most unuseful spots. And tonight I was like, okay, let's do it there and there and there every lap. I try to do the same every single lap for my ERS, and that's why I think I got close to Truckster, but closer than 1 second, just over 1 second. I couldn't get. I was pushing from my side 29 laps.
There's been now, as you just heard by Dave, a very significant cut to the lead of Pleasant Snake. You've now equaled his race wins inside of the season with 4. You're both on 4 right now. This is obviously still in the air. We have one racetrack we don't know of yet, and we have Abu Dhabi into Miami for the next 2 weeks. So what is your overall feeling with what happened with the championship? You stated multiple times about some tracks. You didn't like them. Still a good performance. Even today won, which is like to me the equivalent of winning Mexico, which was also surprising. So what is the plan for the next 3 races to close out the season? Can you do it? Can you take a championship here?
Abu Dhabi and Miami are one of my favorite tracks, at least Miami is. Yeah. Let's say why I always say I'm trying to be consistent every race and look at every race at a time. I don't want to pressure myself too much because if I do that, like Italy, that's normally my best track, but it isn't anymore because I'm putting too much pressure on myself to accelerate, and it would lovely. I would love to win this championship, but yeah, for me it's just having fun every week.
All right, then I'm looking forward to see what you can produce in Abu Dhabi. Congrats again on P1 for tonight, and speak to you in 7 days' time in Abu Dhabi. Take care.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are coming to second place, Race Chase. You've been on a roll recently after that Mexico, which sadly got away from you in a penalty where you got second. You have been consistently up in the fight, and you your pace have been looking very strong from yesterday into today. So what was the main thing that you wanted to do inside of the race, especially after that early group with you and Moksha as well as Quincy came out inside of that chase for what was the last position on the podium left? That additional mix up with Quincy's tire strategy. What have you learned from yesterday? Obviously, from maybe going in a lap earlier with the puncture to make convert into that podium what you've gotten today as of right now.
All I could say, man, is that was some fun racing and pretty clean with Quincy. The main thing for this track is just to not get penalties. Hit your marks. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Lap one was a little bit banging around a little bit, but it's all good. Everybody's just trying to fit in and find their spot. It was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Quincy is such a clean racer. Really appreciate that. Yeah, and I'll just keep doing my thing and trying to finish up toward the front.
Yeah, instead of the first 4 races, you've been heading, one position finish for what have been over 14 points, and then you had consistently over 14 points come Mexico into this day, just a tiny bit lower there for Vegas. So you're back on the podium for the second time into second position here. Is there anything that recently got back to your mojo, because you obviously been looking good with that constructed championship last season as well? So anything that has just, are the tracks just suiting you right now? What's the projection for the rest of the season as well? And how did you get into that rhythm again, where you're just consistently fighting for these top 5 positions again?
I'm not quite sure, but I got frustrated with the game there for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just I'm looking at it in a different light. I've messed around with setups a little bit, and yeah, I just want to focus on myself and be clean and hit my marks, and then see where I end up. But guys like Energetic, and I really can't compete with him. So I run my own race. I know what I am as far as my pace and all that goes. So I try and be smart and use decent racecraft during the race, and it seems to be paying off.
Yeah, you can say that. Obviously, that was it also far is a very nice run of double-digit point scoring finishes for you. So let's see where that takes you to Abu Dhabi. What's your general feeling of that track? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I have mixed feelings about that track. Yeah, the chicane between the two long straights is pretty tough. A lot of people like to go. It's a good passing zone. A lot of people like to go side by side there. And if you're on the inside coming out of the second part of the chicane and hitting the bump there, it can really upset the car. Yeah, it's a tough track. But I think I'll do okay there. So we'll see.
Obviously, looking forward to what you can produce again, and obviously, congrats for that second place as of right now. And see you next time in Abu Dhabi for what is going to be race 10 out of 12 inside of the season. Thank you.
Thank you.
And moving on to what is currently P3 at the line, with Quincy taking a very great opening lap. He has been starting in P9 today if you miss qualifying, and has finished that first lap basically in second position. Later down the line, it's P3 at the line. Additionally, you ran that alternative strategy. What did you see? What did you see from yesterday? And also, obviously, was that a result of your qualifying position that made you go to the hard tire today?
A little bit of both, to be honest. I saw that Fellison had a really good time getting past a lot of us on the last closing laps of Division 1 yesterday. So I knew that the medium was also my strongest tyre. I felt the most comfortable on it. I knew I had pace on it. So I figured if I could hang with the guys on mediums, if I can hang with the guys while I was on hards and they were on mediums, and then I'd only have to go another 3, maybe 4 laps before I needed to pit, and I knew I'd have clean air. So I thought I'd better go for the alternate strategy instead of going into the pit lane, lap 11, lap 12, and then having to do a hard stint that I knew I wasn't really all of that comfortable with. So I felt it was better to me to go opposite. And also, Rowley was starting on the mediums. He was right in front of me. So I thought me and him are usually the same pace. So better go the alternate strategy so we don't sort of end up in the box at the same time or having to go an extra lap like Race Chase did yesterday. And obviously, he ended up with a puncture. So difficult race. I don't find this track very enjoyable when you're driving behind people. So thank God for whatever happened on lap 1 with those guys, and it just opened the ocean like Moses, and I went straight through. So it's just luck, I think. I don't think I would have finished that high, probably a top 5. Looking at Truckster's 10-second penalty, I'm not sure if how he got that. So that more than likely will be having a look at that in the steward's room. So I don't even expect to be P3, but I'll take a P4. I'm quite happy with that.
You mentioned Rolly there for a second. We were watching that time when you just got out behind him after the pit stop. Didn't seem like he wanted to let you through with that alternative strategy. I think you also weaved a bit on the main straight.
I weaved on the main straight to thank him because he could have. I feel like he could have made it a lot more difficult than he did. I think he just wanted to have a little bit of fun, maybe, and we were going side by side in certain places, and I out tractioned him in certain places. But I feel like we had a lap battle, teammate rivalry. Like I said, we're on the same pace, and no one wants to just let someone go. So he didn't make it hard for me, but at the same time, it also wasn't easy.
Yeah, that's true. Obviously, what in hindsight is obviously easy to say is that this opening lap moment, basically not only you benefited from that, but also Snakes took a significant beating here today, making that tire almost last 22 laps and then having a tire puncture at the end. So this has brought this wide open. I think Miami will suit you more than him. That's my honest feeling from what I've seen you do in Miami so far, in sort of different leagues as well. There's like Abu Dhabi in between now, and we have a track coming up that no one knows yet. So what is your feeling now after this race has just opened it up completely, and also energetic now on 4 wins equal as well? He is a threat even more now that Gap has just brought you all 3 together. So what are your thoughts going into the last 3?
Abu Dhabi, not my greatest track, as you know. Me and you have spent an hour or 2 just trying to figure out a setup for my the previous Friday league I used to race for, to try and get a good time. And even then, I've always found this track very difficult and very challenging. So I will be putting the laps in for that, to try and at least be a little bit competitive. I think Miami does suit me, but I think it suits Energetic better. He's always been, as far as I've seen him on that particular track, he's always been up there. I believe he even won one of the races we had in Miami before. So I'm expecting him to do very well there. But I do expect to be quite high up in Miami because it is one of my better tracks. And as for the mystery track, I'll do some work within the week to try and see if we can figure out what's left on the calendar, or get some votes in on whatnot, to see what that's going to end up being sooner to the time. So looking forward to it. I know it's close between me and Snake right now, but I don't think that for a minute that one bad race is gonna put him out of the championship. I think he's more than capable of smashing us in the next 3 races to go.
Yeah, maybe that would also be a good idea in terms of smashing not into other people, as that happened today. Looking forward to what this battle can produce for the rest of the season, and congrats for that P3 again. As we speak, this is currently maybe in wake, so let's see what the result is going to be. But yeah, P4, you take it, and then we move on to Abu Dhabi. See you in 7 days' time. Good night.
Thank you, Eamon. Thank you, Dave. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right then. Well, that closes the chapter on a rather pivotal point in the championship. Energetic benefits well from Snake's bad race, as does Quincy. And it sounds like to us, from Quincy's own words, that he will be losing that podium and Trugster will keep that, and that 10-second penalty will be removed. Calendar, of course, here. We are off to Abu Dhabi next week, followed by Miami, and then the Mystery Grand Prix. A Christmas affair in SSRL Season 2, and all of it, well, going down to the right, you've got an interesting championship happening in Division 1, and you also have an interesting championship in Division 2, so both divisions with viewing-worthy championships, that is for sure, and will surely go down to the end of this season. Herman, what an evening it has been. We have seen Snake's kind of dominant leads towards the beginning of the halfway point kind of be absolutely demolished, and now Quincy's going to be within double-digit points of Snake by the time the results are all but confirmed, and then Energetic now goes from being an outsider to a very, very possible insider.
Yeah, that wasn't obviously, I think, on anyone's bingo cards that after even that very impressive round 1 victory in Azerbaijan, that, yeah, like Brazil, for example, everyone that was basically, especially Quincy and Snake, they were both fighting for the championship, made that extra stop, and then all of a sudden Energetic takes like a huge amount of points away from them while they were only being 4th and 7th or something. So, huge swing. You can't underestimate how much that is in terms of the points right now, even if some positions may be tussled around again. And after that, you just have to look at race by race, and then obviously we'll soon find out what the mystery GP will be as well. So yeah, I think street tracks, you have to look at. Energetic has won so many already inside of the season. As Quincy said there himself, and Miami is one of these street tracks. So a lot of things to look out for Abu Dhabi. It's going to be tough on tires again. It's going to be interesting to see, and obviously lots of different strategies might be also coming into play in terms of setup, because you have these 2 long straights and obviously the removal of some chicanes, but there's still some downforce needed at the end of the lap to get away from what is a very long section of no DR zones in between. So lots of things for the drivers. I think we need that laid on very much right now, and then we'll see what the Division 2 race for Abu Dhabi will hold in 7 this time for us, and I'm sure we won't jinx anything this time.
I can't wait for next week. Herman, it's been an absolute pleasure to share the commentary box with you. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for your passion that certainly equals and maybe even goes beyond mine. And, well, we'll look forward to doing this again over the next 3 weeks. It's crazy to think that in 3 weeks' time I will be doing my last commentary. Bit of a thought there, but it's been an absolute pleasure to have, I think, 3 seasons it is now in the commentary box with you. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and have the rest of your evening.
You too. Bye-bye for now. And with that, yes, we are going to be concluding for tonight. But as you all know, the season is all but over just yet. We have, of course, the final 3 rounds to come, all in all. But now we move on. It is Abu Dhabi next week. And so Division 1 and 2 will be broadcast at 7:30 p.m. GMT, both respectively. Division 1 on Monday and, of course, Division 2 on Tuesday. Same time as always. But now there is 13 or so points between the top 3. It could go down to a 3-way championship by the time we get to our Mystery Grand Prix in 3 weeks' time. Don't go anywhere. I think there is more story to be told just yet in such a short amount of time. But from myself and everybody at SSRL, we all thank you very much for watching, and we wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. And, of course, from ourselves to everybody at SSRL, thank you to the admins, the stewards, and the drivers, and, of course, Herman being an excellent co-commentator for their time and passion towards the league and making this run from week to week. I will wish you all the very best. Stay safe, stay alive, and look after your mental health. We'll see you here next week on Monday and Tuesday. Bye for now.